Howdy folks, I'm Horrified Hoary Edge, horribly hiding from hasty helicopters.
I'm Amber.
And I can see why we would hide from helicopters, but as a butterfly, I don't think the helicopters are that interested in us, so let's get started. Oh, and folks, we have a live stream coming up on Friday. For more information, please see the end of the video. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Reporting My Neighbor's Dog for Barking After They Left Me a Quote-Unquote Polite Note? I'm a 34-year-old male and I live in a semi-detached house and got a new neighbor about 6 months ago, a couple about my age. They have a beagle that they leave alone all day while they're at work, and it barks non-stop from about 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I work from home and the barking is loud enough to hear it through the walls. It's incredibly distracting and frankly annoying. For the first few months, I just put up with it, assuming the dog would settle in, but it never stopped. Well, last week I had enough. I went over after they got home from work and I tried to talk to them. I was polite and I said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that your dog seems to be barking a lot during the day. I'm not sure if you're aware. The guy got super defensive and said, dogs bark, that's what they do, and told me to F off. Well, yesterday morning I found a note taped to my front door, and it was one of those passive-aggressive notes, written in a swirly font. It said, a kind reminder to some people that they have pets, and making a fuss creates a hostile living environment for everyone. Let's all be considerate. I was livid. They were turning it around on me for their noisy dog. So I went online and I filed a formal noise complaint with the council, including logs that I had started keeping of the barking times. My girlfriend says I overreacted to the note and should have just tried talking to them again. She thinks that escalating it to the council makes me the jerk and will just make things worse between us. I don't know. I feel like they were rude first and the note was just a jerk move. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. You tried talking to them, that didn't work. Talking to them kindly again was not going to help.
Yeah.
They are just being absolute jerks. They don't care about your well-being. They don't care about their dog's well-being. They only care about themselves. Because it's not good for the dog. If the dog is barking that often, that is a sign that the dog is in distress.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. It's like they're treating this like it's no big deal, but this dog is being neglected at the very least here, right? A dog that's barking nonstop all day long is either understimulated or they're, anxious and stressed out, and that's not good for the dog here, right? And I think that this isn't good for OP either. It's not good for their mental health to have to listen to a dog bark all day long.
Right. So, I mean, if you cannot properly care for a dog, you shouldn't have a dog.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't just have animals as a convenience to you and not care about their well-being. Because again, this is not good for the dog, but it's also not good for OP and OP's productivity. And no one should have to listen to a dog bark for hours upon hours upon hours in a day. Oh
yeah. Well, and I feel like OP did the really nice thing and was trying to give them a heads up. But the way they acted here, I can't blame OP for taking it to the council at this point in time.
It proved that they don't take this seriously at all, and that they think that they are 100% in the right. And talking to them again is not going to do any good. There's a certain point where you have to step in and take it to someone who actually has power.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Dramatic Living 951 says, not the jerk, and you should record it all day long and send it to them and send it to the council. F them. And Beautiful Paper 2029 says, record the daily barking and play it at night for them. And Scared Molasses 5336 says, this is the answer. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that that's the answer, but certainly recording it and getting a record of how loud the dog is being, I think is a good idea.
Yeah, if you can prove that, from your house, you can hear the dog this loud, that will show that this is not some exaggeration. The dog is literally, in distress for long periods of time.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not good for the poor thing. And Il Rock 8350 says, not the jerk. Next question. And MBA 1956 says, a dog shouldn't be alone for 9 hours a day. It's having separation anxiety, and it isn't fair to the dog. If they can't look after it properly, they shouldn't have it. I would also report it to whatever animal welfare agency you have where you live. Oh, this is where I wanted to say. There's also dog sitting services.
Well, that's it. There's doggy daycare, there's dog sitters, there's all kinds of options. But if you can't afford those options, then maybe you can't afford to have the dog.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Saying I'm Not when a dog owner said that their dog was friendly? Sorry if this is formatted weird. I've never posted here before. I want to first say that I don't like dogs. I don't hate dogs at all, don't get me wrong, and I think that they're very cute and I can see why some people like them, but I just personally am not a fan. I want to emphasize that I don't dislike dogs, I just don't really like them. I'm much more of a cat person. Well, earlier this morning, I was walking through a park when this unleashed German Shepherd, I think, came running at me and tried to jump on me. Naturally, I jumped back and I screamed. I kept trying to politely push the dog away, backing away, all that, but it was very intent on getting the food that I was eating. The owner finally approached, and I was relieved until they started laughing and encouraging the dog to play with me, saying that it was fine because she's friendly and just wants to play. I tried explaining that I don't want to play, but the guy just kept emphasizing that the dog was friendly until I snapped and said, well, I'm not, so get your dog away from me. Well, the guy was all huffy and puffy for a while, acting all shocked that someone could ever possibly not want a muddy dog jumping all over them and ruining their favorite shirt. Finally, the guy called their dog back, and I went along with my day. Well, about an hour ago, I told my mom about the whole ordeal, and she said that it was unnecessarily rude, and I could have just walked away, which is something that I have a hard time doing because I tend to freeze when my flight or fight is triggered. So am I the jerk for telling a guy that I'm not friendly to dogs? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, first of all, you are not in control of how you respond in a fight, flight, or freeze situation. So I think you can alleviate yourself of any guilt for not walking away because not everyone physically can when you're in that state. And I think you handled it fine. You know, the guy was being very unkind to you. I understand that he loves his dog and like enjoys playing with her, but he has to understand that not everyone wants a dog jumping all over them.
Yeah.
I mean, dogs also are big and strong animals, and like a dog has like weighs less than me is still gonna have a lot of them, like the 70-pound dogs or something. They have more muscle than me. And like I've had some big dogs jump at me and almost knock me down. Like it doesn't matter if they're friendly. I don't want to be, thrown on my back.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that dog owners need to be respectful of other people when it comes to things like this. And there's a reason why there are like leash laws and all kinds of other things. Now, I think OP was going through the park, they said. So this park might not have had like a leash law or something. And certainly like I think that OP has every right to tell this person the way they did because they tried telling them first kindly that, oh, I don't want your dog on me, but they didn't listen to OP and just insisted that OP must want to play with the dog.
Right. And I mean, I think OP was showing clear signs of distress, and the way the person completely disregarded their distress by being like, oh, but the dog just wants to play. It doesn't matter if your dog wants to play, then you can play with the dog. But if someone says, can you get your dog off of me? The only appropriate answer is to call your dog off.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Few Improvement 6357 says, was he flirting with you? Not that it would make that okay, but it sounds like the dog had a really good recall and went right back to the owner when he called. It would explain why he was huffy about you rejecting his dog. It was also a rejection of him, and some men don't handle that well. Movies kind of make it seem like a romantic meet cute, but I can see how it would be annoying after. Not the jerk. By the way, how are you supposed to walk away from a dog jumping all over you? It would just follow you. And if you tried to run, that would be another game. Your mom is weird. And OP replies, I hope not, but knowing guys in the area, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm 17 and feminine presenting, so I definitely get some weird interaction from guys. And Wondering Me says, I'm guessing that you're a woman because the jerk likely wouldn't have pulled that on a dude. Not the jerk at all. And I'm a very, very much a dog person. And OP replies, yeah, I'm feminine presenting. Another comment suggested that he probably likes seeing me get tortured, and I don't doubt that. And Goblin Time says, you are the jerk. If you were, I don't know, at a dog park? But anyone who lets their dog go unleashed in public spaces like that is in fact the jerk. And Why Do I Need to Read This says, even if you're at a dog park, it's not okay to allow your dog to jump on a stranger. Teach your dog manners. I'm an avid dog person and I adore them, but if your dog knocks me over, I will be absolutely angry. I'm disabled, so I'm not sturdy enough for that, and I will have to go to the hospital. People need to train their pets if they have them in public.
I think that's a really important point, is that like just because someone, even if this was a dog park, that does not mean that people can let their dogs jump on anyone who's there. There are likely going to be other people that will enjoy playing with your dog, but you still have to like ask and respect personal boundaries.
And OP replies, I'm also disabled, albeit undiagnosed, chronic pain, and I've been considering getting a cane once I'm 18 since my mom refused to get me one. And OP replies, it's a public park and there is a specific area for dogs to play at, but I tend to steer pretty far away from it because of the situations like this. I was on the opposite end of the park from the dog area. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling Some Coworker Friends About How I Saw Another Coworker Crash Their Car? I work in tech, and our office has assigned underground parking. A few months ago, a new girl got hired by a different team, but shortly after she started that team, it got restructured and they didn't need her anymore. Instead of letting her go, management moved her onto our team, so we never actually interviewed her or chose to bring her on. Well, she has a CS degree, but this is her first tech job. She could not find one for a year or two after graduating, and to be honest, it kind of shows. She's not useless or anything, and she does ask questions, but she is not great at self-direction. Sometimes she seems completely lost even with basic stuff like setting up things in Jira, let alone navigating our code base. I have helped her a few times, and she's polite about it, but she needs a lot of hand-holding. Well, the parking garage at our office is tight, and the spot that she got is in a really bad corner. Over the past few weeks, I saw her crash her car twice. Once she hit a post, and another time she scraped the entire side of her car along the wall. My dash cam happened to catch both incidents. I'm good friends with the other 4 devs on our team, and sometimes we hang out in the break room in the cafeteria after lunch. It's not everyone on our team, it's just those ones that I'm close to, which is other devs. We normally have lunch together while she goes on her own or somewhere with a PM with another team. And one day I thought that she had already gone back to her desk, so I told them about the parking stuff and showed them the dash cam clips. Everyone was laughing, and yeah, I was probably playing it up a bit. Then I noticed that the door was open and she was sitting just outside at one of the tables. She had definitely heard it all. Since then, she has been distant. And she used to message me on Slack to ask for help with tasks or stuff like she was confused about, but now she avoids me and barely says a word. Nothing has been said directly, but the shift is obvious. I get that she was embarrassed, but it was a private conversation, and it's not like I posted the videos online or showed them in a meeting. People talk about coworkers all the time, and it's just how it is. If anything, she should not have been snooping on a conversation that was not meant for her. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you are the jerk. I mean, you sound like you're old enough to be out of high school, but I don't know that you ever left high school.
Yeah.
I mean, the level of hostility you have for this poor woman is just absurd.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point in this? Why did you have to show all your coworkers this? Like, you clearly dislike this woman a lot because she needs more help. And instead of, finding some way to process your feelings, you're making fun of her with the other devs. You're creating a hostile work environment for her. That is not okay.
So I kind of want to point out that if she had hit and run a car, then it would be all right for OP to approach her and talk to her about that, right? Mm-hmm. But OP's here mocking her for damaging her own car, which is already an embarrassing and humiliating situation, right? And then on top of that, he says this is a private conversation, but the door was open. Other people could hear that. And it was something completely inappropriate to say in a workplace, right?
Well, that's the thing. Like, this is a workplace. You should assume that anyone could hear anything in that workplace. That it's not truly private.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like it was a public part of the office too, like where anyone could be in, which is why the door was open. And so it would be like, well, she's the jerk for hearing it. No, you brought this conversation to like within earshot of her. You can't blame people for hearing things when you're being obnoxiously loud.
Yeah, and I think that OP owes her an apology, a big apology, and to say, I shouldn't have said those things. It was rude of me. I don't think that OP will apologize, but they owe her a huge apology. And as for like needing help, the only way you're going to learn in a job that's in tech is through asking questions, right? Now, it can be frustrating if the person asks the same questions over and over again and doesn't like write things down, it doesn't take notes and stuff like that. Sure, at that point in time, that's an issue of its own, and you can talk to them about, you know, maybe taking notes and doing a better job at keeping this information, you know. But you can't expect everyone to know everything about a job when you hire them on. It just sounds more like OP is annoyed that she was hired or moved to their team.
Right. Well, it sounds like OP has a very close-knit team and like doesn't like having someone else encroaching on their territory and just wants to get rid of her.
Yeah. So I think that OP is overall just a rude individual and owes this woman a huge apology for what they've done here, because this is just a huge jerk move.
And maybe OP should work on their issues and start learning to create an actual welcoming environment and not just hanging out with their best buddies all the time.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OPs earn. You're the jerk like it's your full-time job.
I love it, Wheel.
Good job, Wheel. Good job.
Such a great workplace pun.
It is, it is. The Wheel is sometimes on point, sometimes not so much. Sometimes it is. I mean, he is being a jerk like it's his full-time job. You don't need to be mean to people at your job.
Yeah.
Right? You can just do your job and be nice to people and go home and collect your paycheck. You're being mean for free here, right? Why? Just do your job, collect your paycheck, be nice to people. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why did the ice cream cone step out in the rain?
Well, the ice cream cone stepped out into the rain because it was a sad ice cream cone, and it wanted to wash away its stickiness, and so it stepped out into the rain to do that, and it kind of melted.
You're making this so sad because they heard it was a sprinkle.
And
it's
were they wrong?
It's National Sprinkle Day.
So go outside during a sprinkle storm and stand outside with your mouth open and expect the sweet confections to fall upon your tongue, but be disappointed that it's actually just water. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy wonderful Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Folks, we have a live stream coming up on Friday, so we hope to see you then. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a haiku for Haiku Wednesday.
I came prepared today.
Ooh.
Don't let your dog bark at all hours of the day. Have some empathy.
Ooh, I like it. Thank you so much for that one. It's a great one. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.